Hey everybody, Brad Linder back at you again with a card of the day. Coming on a little late tonight. Been handling some meetings and some stuff going on, and going to share this over with the page real quick, and then we'll get started because I got the old Copics fired up right here, so we can handle that. Get my pins out of the way though, so we can have that. Bear with me one moment, and we have a share to the page. Yes. Okay. Now, this one is a little bit more detailed than what I normally do. I really wanted to knock this one out heavy, and that's exactly what we have here. So I'm going to start in with the light reds on this one and start here on the hand and kind of pop this out a little bit, and we will go from there. So I just kind of wanted to dive right in. And tonight I'm using the block standard tips. This is an RV29. So we have a very cool bright color for the red. And I wanted to use this one because of the fact that it gives it that kind of almost a red pink kind of thing going on. And it's just a little softer red, you know, it's not quite as dark as some of the reds that I have. So I wanted to use something a little brighter because this armor is very upbeat with the Robert Downey Jr. version of Iron Man that people love so much, which I am a huge fan of myself. And I just wanted to have a little bit of fun with it and keep it very bright, very clean, and on the lighter side of life. So we're going to knock that out. I'm going to start carving in on this. But I just wanted to say a little bit of a thank you for you guys hanging out with me, because I know some of these have been really late in the day, but not as late yet because I haven't missed a day yet. But I just wanted to stay up front with you guys and say, okay, cool, I appreciate this coming out the way you guys do it, because if it wasn't for you guys hanging out with me, and coming on and whatnot, I would not be doing this any longer. But it is my fan base that keeps me going as far as this stuff with these cards, because like I said before many times, I started this because of being wanting to being in a position to where I wanted to practice and up my game, and I think I've done that. But then I started this sketchbook idea as they went along, and I'm pushing to get this done as much as possible. And I appreciate you guys so much being here every single day and or night, hanging out and helping me get through this so I can push these cards out to you, and we can get that Kickstarter live. And I've decided that I'm going to do this to the date of May 3rd, and then I'm going to push beyond that with the sketchbook and release it on a later date, a little bit after that in May. And I'll keep you guys on your toes on that one with updates and things of when the sketchbook will be out, and you guys will be able to get a hold of it. And if you work with the Kickstarter, I will be doing a Kickstarter for it, and if you back the Kickstarter, I will be giving you not only the digital copy of it that anybody can grab a hold of, you will get a special edition print copy, and you will get the card of your selection. It will be first come, first serve on a selected list of which ones you can get a hold of. So you'll have to get in there and get active quickly. Otherwise, they will go away and you will not be able to get them. The ones that are not purchased throughout the Kickstarter will be sold on eBay and other sites, probably my own site at a later time. Hopefully, everybody will get involved and buy these things up so we can get that done. And if you don't get the opportunity to buy a card package, because they will be limited, you'll be able to get some other stuff and, you know, get copies of the book and whatnot, but you may not get a card donation package as a reward for your backing the program. But anyway, hopefully you'll get one of the signed copies and get one of these cards and get a nice original piece. But we have to see where it goes from here, because every little bit, you never know. Hey, Kevin, Hulk smash. Great. I love it. Mr. Kevin P. West has decided to join us this evening. I really dig this one. I'm glad you guys do too. I appreciate that. But yeah, as I was saying, this is going to be in the sketchbook. This piece will be offered, and I will be giving the card away as a promotional piece. And what I'm doing the sketchbook for is promotions for some of my other comics that I'm going to be doing, because I want them fan supported. It's not that I need the funds, it's that I want them fan supported by you guys. And if you want the books, I want to know that, and I want to be able to see you participate, because so many comics die because of the fact that they don't have a fan base. But if you guys are invested in it, the chance of the book going off and being tenfold better is going to be a guarantee, from possibility to possibility. Probability to possibility is what I meant to say there. I double stated that, so, but it's late. That's my excuse. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But anyway, I just wanted to kick this out a little bit and boot up some of this stuff and get this going on. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in with this mask, because here's the original helmet line right here. But what most people make a mistake on is this piece right here. These jaw plates are actually gold too. So many people color those in red, and it's just, come on, man. The figure's gold up there. Oh, don't do that to me. But whatever. So I'm going to go with the original design of these two plates being red instead of gold, and the face mask is in there. Now you got the original helmet, and then these pieces are gold on top of that. So that's where we get that from. And then you have the original red pieces here, right down front and center for the connection. So it just depends on where you want to put the gold accents. For me, I like to put them primarily red right up in here, and then I put in some more gold along the way. But these plates will be gold, this plate will be red, this plate up top will be gold. So that's the way we're going to do it. I know a lot of people are freaking out over that. It's like, you could have gone so many different directions. Yes, I could have, but I wanted to keep it simple because it is red and gold Iron Man armor, and that's the way I want to keep it. So I'm kind of a stickler for that kind of stuff, and I like to go with the image of what I created for the design. And based off of all the Hulk armor, this was from Ultron, Age of Ultron, and that's where this armor came from, and that's where I really dug the design and worked my keister off to draw this thing in a few minutes time, which was nuts within itself. Oops, I got to bleed over right there. That happens. But anyway, this part will be gold, so I'll have to black that out a little bit, put maybe a detail in there or something, because I have it just going right over the line. But that's okay. It happens. It happens more often than not. Most people just don't say anything. But I like being honest with you guys. Hey, Jim, thank you for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it. Brian, same to you, bud. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for popping on. I know it's late, but we are going to knock this bad boy out. I'm just going to keep trucking along here for the next few minutes and getting this all purdied up. And we're going to go from there. So I really, really, really love these Copics. These things are awesome. This is the first heavy workload I've actually done with this set, with these blocked pins. I've done a couple of other cards with them, but not many, because I don't like just hammering my materials, and that's what ends up happening with these things a lot, and I don't want to do that. Some people work their Copics to death, and I'm just not one to do that. These have lasted me a long time, and I want my colors to be vibrant and hold up for you guys. So move my hand out of the light there so we can see what's going on with the image. Now that one, I'll make that plate red, but the plates down here on his side is not going to be, they're gold. So I'm going to make that one gold, and then these down here on the obliques gold, and I'm going to make this little trim right here gold. But his power source here in the middle is standard white blue kind of thing, like they always are. And I really dig these things, but that's his power source right there, so we'll leave that alone because I'm going to make that a really cool blue, and I'm going to make it fade into white. So we got that, and I got a little bit of gray to go in there as well. So we're cool, but I want to put in this one right here because these head right down into the old abadabbas. These are supposed to be the ribs of sorts, and these joints will be gold too, by the way. All of these joints in here, they'll be gold. All these accents will be gold up in here. That's what that's all about. And as you can see right here, here are the obliques on this side, and they're on this side as well. So we match them up, and that's the piece, and then they go into the obliques over here, and that's what we're getting off into on that side. And right here, it goes back to red on this side right there. Now there's a little bitty nick right here, think right there. Cool. Okay, we are getting this done. It's starting to pop out. I really wish I hadn't started with the red, but that's all right. I know, ring around the image because I'm moving it around so much. I apologize for that. I'm trying not to let this bleed over because it's running down into the tip. Gotta tip it back for a sec. Live comic drawing here. Live cards, live cards. But yeah, these segments are going to be gold because there's the clamps for the shoulder pieces, and this is going to be red up on top here because these are the weapon chambers for his shoulder mounts and his backs. Let's see, the back sections. Then there are the hard gold mounts on top for the weapons. Yeah. The back jets and packs that he has. Let's see. There we go. Cool deal. Now, we have all that going on. These innards up here are also gold bits in here. There's a couple of red pieces right up in here, in this one, and in this one, and in this one. But the rest of this is all gold up in here, like that. And I think there's one connector piece is red right there. But that's that. Now, I'm going to go down here, and this is the Mach 2 from Age of Ultron, by the way. So we've got red. I'm going to leave these gold as well. I'm going to do these red, but I'm going to leave all this trim in the gold so we can do that and have it pop out. So we won't have to mess with that. But I'm going to go Generation or Mach 2, which is more of the one we see from Age of Age of Ultron, aka Bertha or Beatrice. She was called Bertha originally in the Secret Wars, and then she was called Bertice in Age of Ultron. So we have that going on. That was a Marvel thing to change that up. Now I'm going to let that sit and dry for a bit. And what I've got going on with this, that's not bright enough. This will be brighter. There we go. Cool. Okay, I've got a Y15, and I'm going to start off on these gold pieces. And then I've got an egg yolk color, a YR23, which I will be using as a shadow element on this thing. And I cleaned out 99% of that graphite, so I don't think it's going to have a problem unless I saturate the ink like a goof, which I have done before. We shouldn't have too many problems with that. But I like to see this go a little bit duller than most people. They like to have these white spots in here, you know, and box it in and all that and make it all fancy. And I'm fine with that. I dig it. But for me, I want these to look a little more of an animated type of feel for a lot of these cards. So I'm going in just solid edge to edge, and I'm not grooming them out too much because I want them to be sketch card quality. You know, I want them to be simple, fast, clean, traditional artwork, not fancy schmancy, too deep to where it's, you know, overkill. Because I see that all the time. Everybody like puts in 6 hours into a card, and then they go, "Well, it's a sketch card. Oh, that's a sketch card. Don't worry about it." And you know, and it's just excuse the voice there, but yeah, you know, it's just one of those things where people push it so far. They're like, "Oh, that's nothing, man. I'm sorry. You know, that's just my sketch card." Yeah, and they put in like 6 hours worth of work on these things, and it's just stupid stuff. You know, own up. If it's an actual production level project and you put in 6 hours to a card, the same 6 hours that you would put into a page in most cases, it just don't do that. You know, it's kind of a false thing. You know, you're hyping yourself. Don't do that. I get that all the time with people trying to say, "Oh, well, I do this and I do that," and it's just like, really, dude? I work extremely fast in the industry. I know what it takes. And, you know, how long did it take you to do that card? Oh, it took about 5.5 hours. That's not a sketch card. You know, a sketch card takes about 20, 30 minutes tops. If it's a bigger piece, it can take a little bit longer, maybe an hour, which I've done before. But that was like on that 6-card Juggernaut piece or the He-Man piece. You know, that's 4 or 5 cards. And then you have Mum-Ra, which took forever. And I painted that one like crazy. So, I mean, I think I put in a couple of hours on that one. I mean, it was a big piece, and I deliberately painted that one because I was experimenting, not to show out and do exactly what I just said not to do. It was for the fact that I was experimenting with the Copics on the painting level. You know, I wanted to kick it out and see how far I could push it and have fun with it. And I got asked to see my actual painting technique, so that's what I did. So, but, you know, I mean, if you're saying you're doing sketch cards, then do sketch cards, man. Push it out. Get it done. Stop screwing around. And don't do 6 hours worth of work and then say, "Oh, well, it's just a sketch card," and, you know, humbly accept the ego. In reality, you're doing professional grade work and you know it's that good. It just ticks me off. I saw some people doing that earlier. I was just like, really, man? But whatever. So, anyway, just knocking this bad boy out right now. Got him all laced up there. Gonna pop in these blues on the power supply a little bit. Kind of shade this and get this going. Mini masterpieces. That's awesome. Hey, Patrick, thanks for coming on. Yeah, Jim O'Reilly, man. I'd quit a card if it took me 6 hours. Yeah. For those that can't see it, Jim O'Reilly said that he would quit a card if it took him 6 hours. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I would never invest 6 hours into a card. That's just crazy. Not unless it was a specific commission that someone wanted. But I don't have that kind of time, so I wouldn't waste on it that way. I would refer them to someone else. But yeah, it's just one of those things, man. People do crazy stuff. And now we're going to go back in with this darker red here. I've got an R27, which I really like. It's a nice bright red, almost a lipstick red color. I'm going to go in here with this one and kind of highlight things a little bit. And I know I say highlight when I shadow stuff because of the fact that it makes it pop out. I'm toning is what I'm doing. I'm shadowing. So let's see if we can get some of this to come up. Now I'm going to put in certain shadows and little tidbits here to make this stuff pop up and give it a little bit of an under edge. And by that, I mean it's going to look like it has an edge to it. And when it dries, it's going to kind of differentiate and shade just a little bit to make it look have a little bit more dynamic and have a little richer and deeper looking aspect on the perspective. But what's going to end up happening is we're just seeing these outlines. And then I'll pop it with a hard red from a Sharpie here in a minute. And after this sets back up. And then I'll finish it off with that and really make it pop and use deep shadows and pull them out. And then you'll be going, wow, how many reds are in that thing? Just 3, but it'll look like 4 or 5. Because it's all in the line work and how you do it. So it's all a matter of how you get in there and get it done. But I love doing this with Copics because they're so forgiving. And you can go in and do 4 or 5 different variations. And when they set and dry, it just layers upon layers upon layers of stuff for you to have as pretty pictures. But let's see here. See how far I get with it. I may slip and get a big red mark right across his face. That would be a bummer. But we'll see. Hopefully not. So down here on these sides, I'm beefing this up just a little bit. And I'm going to go across here. Kind of box this out. Like I said, I'm going to leave kind of a highlight design with these shadows. I'm coming in and popping them into where it'll make the highlight parts pop out softer with that other red that I put down first. And I hear crap about this all the time because people are like, why do you do that? Why do I do what? You go in and outline this stuff, and then I have to go back and outline it that way too because people say you outlined it that way. Take me with a grain of salt, man. Do your thing. Do your thing. So, got this going on. Now we're wrapping around here. I'm going to do the Abadabbas first because if I don't, I'll forget them. That would be bad. So I'm going to kind of fill these in a little bit before we move on. Then I'm going to go back up here and go up the other side so we can have that done. Now, I know this doesn't look like much, but trust me, when this dries, it'll give it an edge. Like I said, it'll give it an edge line work where it'll really pop up. So I think it's a great technique for this, and it's very subtle, and it makes people wonder. You know, the biggest compliment that I get out of it is when people ask me what I did to find out about that technique. You know, how did you tone that? How did you color that? How did you get that look? Well, the reason I did is because I layer it up like this, and people wonder how I did that with one color or 2 colors and pull it out. And the truth is it's not. It's multiple colors. But it's all about in where you place it with the line work that makes it the most effective. And people just don't get that. I do that a lot in marketing as well. It's all about positioning, and people don't think about that. You know, they're all about the technique, and they're not about the work that goes into the positioning behind the technique to execute. So I get that a lot. It's like, how do you capture all these emails and get all these people and get this list? And what do you do, blah, 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 for your business? And I'm just like, I do the work, man. How did you get so famous? You got about 20 years? I'm not famous. I'm well known, but I'm not famous. I work hard, 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 hard. I get that all the time. You seem to be everywhere. That's because I put stuff everywhere. Okay. We got that going on. Now I'm going to come in with this really, really cool yellow. Secrets, none of their... Kevin P. West just said, secrets, none of their business. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it, man. Wow, Kevin, you secrets, none of their business. I love it. Now with this one, I have a YR23, and this is it's kind of a faux gold, but it looks more like egg yolk to me, and that I'm serious. It does. It looks like fried egg yolk, which I'm a Southern boy. I like fried eggs, so I can't eat them too often, but I like them. All the vegetarians and vegan fans will be freaking out. You know those are baby chickens. That's the color it reminds me of. What can I say? You know, in certain lights, it kind of reminds me of butterscotch, or, you know, like a caramel when it starts to turn. And yes, I'm a foodie, so it tends to come out that way as food references. So bear with me, but that's one of my hobbies. I love to cook. Love, love, love to cook. So I've done that in a professional capacity at times as well. Pretty cool. Very cool stuff. So kind of knocking this out just a little bit, toning that up. Now when that dries, it'll look really, really cool, because it's not everywhere like it looks right now. It's like you're darkening up the whole thing. No, I'm not. I'm actually just touching it, kind of Venom style. And when I say Venom style, just in case you haven't ever heard that before with me, it's where I fill in the center and leave the outside edges, and then an internal edge, and it gives it a natural highlight. Like this one, you can see it best because it's a big piece. But I'm not coloring every little aspect of it. I'm just kind of filling in the gaps and going across and letting it do its natural thing here, and it'll work out in a freeform style of trying to get that filled in, because the ink will spread as I do the block, and it'll push out to the edges just a little bit, and it gives it just this natural texture and look to the feel of the metal. So, and on a two-dimensional plane, you really have to work to get that kind of hard look. So that's what we're getting. We've gotten all the way around here now. Now I'm going to go back up into the mask and do this again. Now this is kind of tricky, because you have to come up underneath the fold of the mask here, and you have to go down the nose slope where the eyes are just a little bit to give it that high cheekbone action that is known for Iron Man's jaw, and that really broad crest on the nose, and edge this just a little bit. And you do not ever fill in the nose spot on Iron Man, because it'll make it look like a Batman face or a Wolverine face, and he'll have that funky nose arch, which doesn't exist on the Iron Man mask. You'll make it look goofy. I know a lot of people like to do that now, and the thing is, it doesn't make it look like an Iron Man mask. It makes it look like a Batman, a gold Batman or a gold Wolverine kind of thing, and it looks weird. You want to keep that away from that crest because it'll make it look like I said, like a Wolverine if you go tapering it down, because his mask doesn't have that. It has a flat edge. So keep that in mind when you're monkeying around with that thing, because you'll really mess it up. Yeah, they are. Oh, let's see. Jim, you're nuts, man. Thanks for coming on, bud. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to use a YR4, a YR04 on this one as the final texture. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it's going to pop that orange in there. And it's going to make it have that gold texture that we want. And we know for the Iron Man material, is it's got that, it's supposed to be gold flaked spray paint on the Iron Man armor. Because gold is really dense, but it's also really thin when you temper it. So he can't use gold as, he has to use iron underlay and then use the gold over as a spray and as a coating. Because if he was to use true gold armor, it would be crushed. One, it would be so heavy he couldn't move it. Two, it would be a lot of gold to be getting damaged. And, that would be financially impractical and just ridiculous. And not to mention the fact that it's just, one, he couldn't move. Two, it would be completely destroyed because it's very fragile in a tempered state that would be thin enough and malleable enough to use as armor. So what he does, he uses a gold dust like he did in the movie, which is awesome. It's a spray coating, and he's done that since the beginning of the comic, back when it was the gold armor, because the original Iron Man armor was gray, like you saw come out of the cave in the first movie back in 2008. And then the second armor was not silver, it was gold. And it was not hot rod red and yellow yet, it was gold. The Mach 2 was a big tank gold version, just like the cave armor. And a lot of people don't know that. And it fascinates me that they don't, because, they're like, I'm an Iron Man fan, and I'm like, really? What's the Mach 2? Well, Mach 2's the silver one with the fins, where he stood in the garage and it gave the cool music, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, and yeah, well, guess what? In the comic book, it wasn't. In the comic book, it was gold. Check out the first Avengers books and you'll see it. Oh, man, why you gotta go all geek on me? I love doing that. I don't love showing people up. I love knowing the fact that I know the material. I pride myself on that because I'm a fan. I know it's just a little bit geeky, but I own it. It is what we do. So, anyway, all joking aside, there we go. We have Iron Man. And let me see here. I'm going to go in. I don't want to do the blue on the eyes, so I'm going to go in with a gray. I'm going to use a C3 here and kind of shadow those up a little bit to where we have that lively lensed gray look. And then I'm going to go down here on the arc, kind of tone that in a little bit. And now we have HulkBuster. To that extent of needing a Sharpie. And now we're going to put in these heavy ones, these great heavy reds for the shadow parts. So it's going to be cool. Check this out. I love doing this stuff. Going to pick one side like that. Give it a nice runner. Pop in a light shadow underneath. Shadow this side. Boom. Grab that thumb and just shadow walk that side. So that's done. Block that in. Ridge that hand. And we have the start of something wonderful. Again, doing this Venom style, not going right out to the edge, leaving it just a little bit from the edge, just a fine line where these shadows can really kick up. And as they dry, they will fill in all that space and make it jump out and go, wow, what's in there? Now this segment, I will go all the way to the edge and go edge to edge on it because of the fact that I want it to be the palm of the hand and be shadowed. Okay, there's a difference there. Same thing here. That's the inside of the hand. Boom, done deal. Now we go back over to these fingers and we put a little bit of a shadow right there because that finger overlaps this finger. So we're going to put a little bit of a shadow right there. And then we're going to put a little bit of shadow on this edge so it looks like it's down in there. Just a little bit like that. Okay. Now I'm going to catch the bottom side of this finger right here on the very edge and shadow that side. Put a little shadow under here for the edge of the knuckle. Go on that side because it's light prominent coming down this way. And then I'm going to shade these in just a little. Just like that. Not much, just like that. I'm going to go down here on the abadabas and pop this in. Boom, 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 boom. Kind of fan this out. Now I'm going across kind of like a peacock's tail, so it's fanning. And this is the point right here. And that's why it's getting the darkest, because it's getting the most ink. So we have that done. Now I'm going to shadow that side. Detail that side out for a little bit of the dark side, but leave a little point for the light over there. And I'm going to do this thing again. Start from the middle. Boom, 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 boom. Just like that. Come across the top here. Go down across this bottom here. Triangulate that. Boom, right about there. Now I'll come out, feeding it peacock style there across the page. Boom, done, down. Block that in. We mean that low light there. Now we'll spin this around. Here we come right up the middle for this one to build out. We'll make that a massive edge. Right there. Make that a seam line right there. Put that shadow in the middle of that plate. That shadow there. Put it around the outside to make that segment again. Kind of fill that in across the top. Fill that in. Boom, boom. Right there. Now, right in between here, just a little bit. And then right across this top, I'm going to do a shadowed section, make it look a little rough right here. Not much though, because we want it to whittle down so that it looks like the paint's kind of faded. Just a little. Like he's seen some combat. Shadow that down like it's a sloped plate there, like that plate comes out and has a crest on it and it kind of V's out, tapers out. We want that to happen to make this look like it's part of the boxed plate on his chest. Got that going on. Right here behind this, I'm going to go in and tinker with that because his arm's up in the way. Highlight right here for that shadow. Kind of tinker with the edge of that plate a little bit. And right here on these hard lines, boom, 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 boom. Highlight on that side because it's come across this way. So now we've got all that going on. We've got to get this one and this one done. And then we'll do the helmet. And we will call it a day. Okay, got some nice highlights there. Drag that down a little, right across here. Now, we got that going on. Got the back of this hand right here. And the edge of this upper arm piece. And now we've got in here, right across that crest, right across there. I'm going to go right across that grill, right where that helmet connects. And this one's going to be kind of tricky because I don't want to go over into the gold and I don't want to go across the entire red. So I'm going to be very careful not to put a funky mark across there. Look what you did to his face. And low lights there. Boom, boom, boom. Got that done. Okay, cool. And there we go. Now we have that done. Now one more thing to do. Okay, one more thing to do here. I have a YR14, which is a really bright, smooth orange. I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to grab my other eraser wherever I put it. I'm going to go back over this just a little bit to clean it up a little more. Oh, oh, oh. Do not want to crease that. I bowed it, but I do not want to crease it. That would suck, especially right here at the end. That would be a bummer. Look, he ruined the card. Luckily, I can press that because it's not bent. I'd have felt like an idiot if I'd have done that. Okay, going out from the edge here. Now, I've got this really cool YR24, which is more of a burnt orange kind of thing. I'm trying to catch this while it's still wet before it dries so that we can meld these colors together without having to blend them. Now, right here across the back, what I'm going to do is I have this really cool... Oh, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. I have this really cool dark gray. Now what I want to do with this is I want to go in and paint a hard rim right across. Okay, just like that. And go down and around here like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with this wedge. I'm going to kind of brush this up just a little bit. And I know I stopped talking. I'm trying not to color on his head. There we go. And across the top, to tie it all together, I'm going to come in with this little bit of red here. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and cross the top, smooth. That way I can bleed this in. And then go back over it, thicken up those spots. Now we kind of have that cool rippled effect going down through there to bring it all together, kind of funky psychedelic style. I'll put some deeper orange in here to liven things up a little bit. Okay, And we have HulkBuster. So hope you guys dig it. That's it for tonight. I'll be back for another one tomorrow, as always. And as we always say when we end these shows, you guys know how it is. We have this rock for a limited amount of time. Let's do something cool with it for the next generation. Have fun, smile, hug somebody, make someone laugh, give a kid you know and love a tickle, and have some fun. You know, be alive, be living in the moment. That's what it's about. Don't just exist, live. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.